So we are going to discuss unit number 2 about food chain. In this unit, we have learned about the how energy is passed on from one living thing to another, producers, consumers and decomposers, the importance of protecting ecosystem. Now let's move towards the exercise. In exercise of this unit, we have a quick quiz. In this, we have to answer the following questions. Where does all the energy come from? How is it passed on to us? For answering this question, we have to move towards the starting page of the unit. The answer is here in page number 35. Plants make their food by using the energy of the sun. When animals eat these plants, energy gets passed on to them. Question B is give the example of a simple food chain. The answer to this question will be a rabbit which eats some grass and is then eaten by a fox. This is the simplest food chain. C is what are the parts of the food chain? Explain role each part plays. The answer to this question is on page 36. Parts of a food chain. A food chain is made up of the sun, producers, consumers and decomposers. So what are the producers? First of all, let's see what the sun plays role. A food chain begins with the sun, as the sun is the source of all energy. Plants are called producers because they make their own food. Consumers. Animals are called consumers because they can't make their own food. Decomposers are tiny insects and organisms. All decomposers break down the unused dead material and turn them into nutrients. What is the difference between primary consumers and secondary consumers? Here you get your answer in the extra info. Herbivores are called primary consumers. Primary consumers may be eaten by other animals called secondary consumers, the carnivores. Do you think using insecticide is a good idea? Explain your answer. The answer for this will be no. To use insecticides is not a good idea at all because when we use insecticides, the insects will be killed. So the other animals or organisms will not get their food. By doing so, the other animals will die from hunger and this will affect our ecosystem. Circle the correct answer. What do we call a living thing that only eats plants? We call them herbivore. What do we call a living thing that makes its own food using the sun's energy? We call them producers. What do we call a living thing that eats only meat? We call them carnivore. Link the animals to the food they eat and draw arrows in the right direction to connect them. Let's start linking the animals. In A, we have a lion. Lion will eat this deer and this deer will eat this plant. And in the B, we have some seaweeds which will be eaten by this goldfish, and the goldfish will be eaten by this shark.